Hello everyone, welcome to this video. This is Viral Tech Lab, and today we're going to go over the reasons why you should invest in Iraqi Dinar, and also we're going to talk a little bit about just making sure that you think wisely about all the investments that you make. Okay? All right. 3 reasons you should consider investing in Iraqi currency. If you're considering an investment in Iraqi currency, it's important to plan for the long term. Think of it as an investment or an invest and forget type of strategy. It should be just one aspect of your passive income game plan, because only a small percentage of a diversified portfolio should be dedicated to any single foreign currency. 3 reasons to consider investing in Iraqi currency. Number 1, Iraqi currency value is at a low cost point. Number 2, an Iraqi dinar reevaluation appears realistic. And number 3, the future of Iraqi currency looks good based on economic advances. If you want to purchase Iraqi dinar currency, now is a good time. There are clear reasons why dinar investment gurus support this investment and believe the Iraqi to US dollar exchange rate is favorable for US investors. Number 1, Iraqi currency value is at a low cost price point. A low price point refers to the Iraqi currency to the US dollar exchange rate. Currently, a small amount of United States dollar will buy a large amount of Iraqi dinar. At the time of this writing, one United States dollar is worth $1,192.96 of Iraqi dinar. The best, or to stay abreast of Iraqi currency news, the most reliable source is the Central Bank of Iraq. It's a good place to review an Iraqi currency chart or to find out if the government is planning on a new Iraqi currency. You can also use Iraqi dinar to US dollar conversion tool for most up-to-date Iraqi currency exchange rates. When you buy Iraqi dinar currency at a low cost, you will benefit if and when the Iraqi currency exchange rate improves. At the present time, the dinar to dollar ratio works in your favor because the dinar exchange rate allows you to leverage the purchasing power of the United States dollar. Currently, Iraqi currency value is a speculation. Iraqi currency reevaluation news has not yet identified when the exchange rate will change. All you can determine right now is that if you spend 1,000 US dollars, then you will get 1,192 million Iraqi dinar. This is, to say at least, is a very good exchange rate should the Iraqi dinar improve. The Iraqi dinar currency exchange rate will improve if Iraq reevaluates its currency. The value of the Iraqi dinar is at a low point, and many experienced investors are betting on the concept that at this point, the value can only go up. If this is a reevaluation and the discrepancy between the US dollar narrows, then you could make 6 to 7 figures overnight. For this ideal scenario to unfold, you have to look at the reevaluation potential based on economic recovery. Number 2, an Iraqi dinar reevaluation appears realistic. The whole premise behind buying Iraqi currency is that the situation will change and that the Iraqi dinar will revalue. Once this happens, and once the gap between the United States dollar and the Iraqi dinar is less extreme, then you'll be able to sell your dinars for a profit. But reevaluation is not the only reason why the exchange rate could improve. The exchange rate could improve for other reasons as well, such as general improvement in the country's fiscal health and economic growth. If the dinar still grows in strength against the dollar without any reevaluation, then you will still make a profit. Incidentally, there is no news right now of the Iraqi currency going international. Any change in the Iraqi dinar currency rate will be based entirely on the decisions of the country's central bank. Reevaluation will depend on whether or not the Iraqi economy is improving. Based on the current news, the Iraqi economy has not yet turned the curve towards adequate growth. Number three, the future of Iraq's currency looks good based on economic advances. Three aspects of Iraqi economic recovery are worth noting. First, the economic potential to supply the world's oil is immense. Second, its legal and economic protection created by Executive Order 13,303 allows it to grow unimpeded. Lastly, Iraq's economic recovery after the fall of Saddam Hussein's regime has been impressive. Iraq's oil potential. After rebuilding its oil production facilities following the war with the United States, Iraq's economy is poised to steadily improve its supply of oil to meet the world's growing need for fuel. According to Henry Thompson, the author of International Economics, Global Markets, and Competition, Iraq has enormous crude oil wealth potential. Although the world is shifting toward alternative energy production, oil is still the primary driver to meet the world's need for oil consumption. Over the next 20 years, the world's need for energy will double. In the next 2 decades, it's highly unlikely that the alternative energy will have advanced enough to replace oil. Consequently, oil-owning countries with monopoly resources will continue to generate the bulk of energy sector profits. Iraq is a major oil-producing country. The Arab Gulf has the world's largest oil reserves. The region of the world controls 65% of the world's proven oil reserves, and of this percentage, Iraq accounts for 12% of it. What this means, says Thompson, is that Iraq can produce as much as 2 billion barrels a year. At $100 a barrel, the country could potentially gross earnings of $200 billion. Thompson believes that over the next 20 years, Iraq could generate $9 trillion if it could sell a quarter of its reserves at $100. The math, he argues, is simple. 90 billion barrels at $100 is 9 trillion. Additionally, Iraq has large amounts of natural gas. These are usually found in conjunction with oil production. Much of this natural gas has not been tapped. Once utilized, it could be used for electricity production, which would drive domestic manufacturing. The gas reserves may also be a significant source of future exports too. But that's not the whole story. Iraq has not been explored for more oil and gas reserves. Iraq could have even more resources than imagined. Protection of Executive Order 13,303, President George Bush issued Executive Order 13,303 on May 22, 2003 to protect the rebuilding of Iraq. The order protects the development fund of Iraq from liens or any legal attachments in a nutshell. What this means is that the country can rebuild without any legal or economic interference. The order ensures a smooth economic recovery. The security will, of course, help Iraqi currency value and the Iraqi currency exchange rate to keep on growing stronger. Iraq's economic recovery after 2 wars Since Iraq's economy is based on the oil industry, here's a brief history of the country to give you a sense of perspective about why there's a strong indication that the idea of an Iraqi dinar revalue is rooted in reality. From September 22nd, 1980 to August 20th, 1988, Iraq's finances were severely impacted by its 8-year war with Iran because Iranian forces crippled its oil exporting facilities. The war inflicted a loss of $80 billion, and to survive, the government resorted to austerity, started borrowing extensively, and pushed back its foreign debt repayments by negotiating for a rescheduled payment plan. After the war, the country began heavily rebuilding. Despite the tremendous number of casualties among Iraqi men after the Iran-Iraq War, the economy gradually began to improve. New pipelines were built, damaged facilities were rebuilt, oil exports increased. But this recovery only lasted from 1988 to 2002. In 2003, the country was invaded by a coalition led by the United States under erroneous intelligence information that Saddam Hussein was harboring weapons of mass destruction. Although the government was overthrown and Hussein flushed out from hiding, imprisoned, and executed, the conflict did not come to an end but dragged on for most of the rest of the decade. Insurgent Islamic forces opposed the American forces and resisted the post-invasion government of Iraq. Things began to turn around for the country in 2009 after President Obama ended the U.S. occupation. Oil exports returned to the levels that resembled the era before Operation New Dawn. Despite continuing internal conflicts caused by Islamic State insurgents, the government revenue skyrocketed as global oil prices rose. In 2010, foreign investors worked to rebuild the economy, and by 2011, international oil companies had brought the oil up to 1.9 billion. 1 barrel equals 42 US gallons. Recently, Iraq has developed contracts with a number of major oil companies to further expand its oil revenues. These deals aim at upgrading pipelines, oil processing facilities, and improving export infrastructure. For instance, the Inca Salumaya power plant in Iraq was awarded the Global Best Project of last year by Engineering News Record. Iraq's economy is also improving for other reasons too. Increased foreign investments are rebuilding the retail industry, the construction trade, and the energy sector. There are now broad economic improvements and an improvement in the standard of living. Finally, another sign of hope is that inflation has been dropping since 2006. A dinar recap. As a result of the country's slow recovery and its continuing internal conflicts between various factions, the fate of Iraqi dinar remains uncertain. Will there be an Iraqi dinar revalue? If so, when? The slow pace has resulted in some investors in the United States calling a dinar investment a risky idea. The situation has resulted in negative press about the dinar. What you have to remember is that investing in an Iraqi dinar is a long game. The country is recovering economically, but there are many internal political conflicts. The standard of living is still low, and the unemployment rate is still high. Buying Iraqi dinar currency with your extra income is a speculation. You will need to stay on top of dinar updates if you buy Iraqi currency. Iraq, despite all its problems and continuing issues, is producing and exporting more oil, improving its infrastructure in all economic sectors, and is rising above previously crippling inflationary trends. These are some good reasons to suggest that the currency will improve its exchange rate, and reevaluation is a distinct possibility. So I want to say this, a lot of people are going to say, that the Iraqi dinar is a scam. A lot of people will say that. But guess what? What if it's not a scam? And what if your investment takes off to make you millions of dollars? We can't listen to, what people's opinions are on this thing, on this investment. We have to investigate it ourselves to find out relevant information so that we can make sure it's a good investment. Because guess what? If everybody was meant to be a millionaire, then there would be no money in the economies. But not everybody's a millionaire. Millionaires and billionaires do their research for their investments, and then they invest. And they face, people telling them that it wasn't a good investment at first. But guess what? When they're at the bank cashing their checks, they're living comfortable, they can think about when people told them about their investments. So what I'm telling you today is, make sure that you investigate the Iraqi dinar, because it's a great oil producing country. And if the oil reserves are what they say they are, then Iraq can supply the world with oil, which would help its economy. So even if it revalued just a little bit, you can still make money off your investment. And so, just research your investments before you take them. But I found this article, and I'm gonna put the website where you can find and read this article too. But I just wanted to say, just take time to research your investments. I think the Iraqi dinar sounds like a good investment. And I think it's worth researching, because the people who don't want you to be millionaires, they're going to tell you that it's not a good investment. Or the people who want to be millionaires themselves are going to tell you that it's not a good investment because they want to buy it themselves and they don't want you to buy it. And so, just research it for yourself and start off with a little bit for an investment, and spread your portfolio out to many investments, other than an Iraqi dinar. But I think this is a good investment. But thank you for your time. The link to this article is in the description. Like and subscribe this video. Share this video with your friends. And just in general, like this video and subscribe to my channel. And I'll have another link, in the description for alternative investment, if you're thinking about investing in other things. All right. God bless you. Have a good day. If you don't know Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, it's a two-step process. All you have to do is confess Jesus as your Lord and Savior and believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, and you'll be saved. All right. But God bless you. And hey, receive Jesus as your Lord and Savior. Take care. And look out for more updates.